So this is Kylie and Melissa, and we are going to be teaching law of sines and cosines. But first we will talk about law of sines. And for law of sines, you use that for triangles that have an angle side, an side angle, and an angle side. The formula for law of sines consists of little a over sine big A, little b over sine big B, and little c over sine big C, because in a triangle you have a big A, a big B, and a big example. We will talk about the angle side. For this problem, we have to find all sides and angles for a triangle with a little b of 27.4, big B of 28.7, and big C of 102.3, as you can see on the triangle. Here's big B, 28.7, big C, 102.3, and little b, 27.4. And since A, so we have little a over sine 49, because that's what big A equals, and then we can equal that to what we know from our triangle. We can see that we both have information for big B and little b. Little a, we can plug that information in. So we know that the angles in a triangle equal 180. We can go ahead and add up 102.3 and 28.7 and subtract it from 180 and find big angle A to be 49. So from here, you can plug in from the information you know into the formula that you have. So we can go ahead and try to find little, since we do not know little c, we keep little c, and then have sine big C, which is equal to 102.3. You cross multiply once again, and you have sine 102.3, 43.06 over sine 49. And we see that this equals 55.74, equal to little c. And now we have found all sides and angles. Okay, for our second example, we will explain the angle side angle problem, in which we have to find all sides and angles for a triangle with A as 57, big B as 43, and little sine 57. You cross multiply what we know from our triangle into the formula for law of sines. And we'll just go ahead and use little c and big C. And we find out that little a equals 18.74. Go ahead and find little b. So we'll plug in little c and big C, since we use that for the first solving. So we know that little c is 22 over sine 80 for big C, and we'll find little b over sine 43, because that's what big B is. You cross multiply over sine 80, and we see that little b equals 15.24. 15.24. And now we have found all sides and angles for the angle side angle problem. Okay, and this is our third example, which we will be discussing the ASS problem, the angle side. And there are three important things you need to remember for an ASS problem, which is the sum of the angle side. So to begin this problem, we will start by finding our big B. So we see what we have given in the problem, and we have little a and big A and little b. So little a is 10 over sine 30, because that's big A, equals little b, which is 16, over sine b. You see that that equals 0.8. And we see that 0.8 falls in between one of the rules of ASS, of where sine ranges from -1 and 1. So then you can find the inverse of sine. So we have b sine -1 0.8, which is the inverse of sine, and we find out that comes to 53.13. So now we have found big B. We subtract that 53.13 from 180, which comes to 0.87. And we see from these two figures that there can be two possible triangles. So, triangle 2, you have your angles A, B, and C. Triangle 1, triangle 2, A equals 30, B equals 53.13, C equals 96.87. And we know from the given problem that little b equals 16 and little a equals 10. And you just go through with the law of sines to find out little c right here. So for that, the little c equals 19.86 for triangle 1. Now moving over to triangle 2, little a on top over sine big A, which is 30, equals to little c, which is what we want to find, equals 7.86. And here is your answer, SS problem.
I'll be explaining law of cosines. There's two different types of formulas, and the first kind are a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus b. And then when you're finding the angles, you have to use like cosine A. So cosine A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. And cosine of b equals a squared plus c squared equals minus b squared over 2ac. And to find cosine C, you use a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab. And you use all of these formulas for when you have a triangle with that's given three sides and no angles, you're going to use the law of cosines. And the formula you use is a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab. And in this triangle, it's given the sides a equals 8, b equals 3, and c equals 9. So you do 8 squared plus 3 squared minus 9 squared over 2 times 8 times 3, which equals negative 0.17. And angle C equals 99.8. Sine over sine 99.8 equals 3 over sine B. So sine B equals 3 sine 99.8 over 9, which equals 0.32. So you take the inverse of sine, so sine to the negative 1 of 0.32 equals 18.7. So the angle for B is 18.7. So then you're going to take 99.8 plus 18.7, and it gives you 118.5. And you take 118.5 from 180, and it leaves you with 61.5. So you know angle A is 61.5. So to fill in our triangle, we've got angle A equals 61.5. Angle B equals 18.7. So then you take the inverse of cosine. So it's cosine to the negative 1 of negative 0.17, and it gives you 99.8. So the angle for C is 99.8. Now, to figure out the rest of it, you're going to take and use the law of sine, which Melissa explained earlier. So you've got A over sine A equals B over sine B. So now, when you have a triangle of side angle side, which that gives you two sides and one angle, you're going to also use the law of cosines to figure out all of the angles and all of the sides. So it gives you A equals 120, little b equals c, and little c equals 10. So the formula you'd use is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2b times c cosine A. So our problem is a squared equals 3 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 3 times 10 times cosine of 120. So a squared equals 139. A equals 11.8 because you take the square root of 139. 11.8 over sine 120 equals 3 over sine B. So sine B equals 3 sine 120 over 11.8, which equals 0.14. So when you take the inverse of sine, you do sine to the negative 1.14, and you're going to get 8.04. So the angle for B is 8.04, and we know that the angle for A is 120. So we're going to add 120 and 8.04 together and subtract from 180, and you're left with 51.9. And that gives us all of our sides and angles, which A is 120, B is 8.04, C is 51.9, side A is 11.8, side B is 3, and side C is 10.